What is up, enthusiasts? It is Cedar Flags here, and welcome back to another one of my videos. So, to say the least, Universal has been on an absolute roll lately. Recently we've had rides like Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure and Velocicoaster at Islands, and then of course they are building a new park in Epic Universe, and we just got news yesterday of even more new Universal news. And very similar to some of the other projects recently, we aren't just seeing a new ride, we aren't just seeing a new park, but we are seeing an entirely new resort located in Frisco, Texas. This is going to be located a little north of Dallas, and to say the least, I think this is a very important step in Universal's history. On top of that, they have just released that they are making plans for a year-round haunt event in Las Vegas, and on top of that, there are rumors out there that they are going to get Port Aventura once again, like they used to in the early 2000s. So, to say the least, this is huge news for everyone, and even though that it is a smaller resort, we're going to get to that in a little bit, there is still some major stuff to talk about. So, I want to talk about 1, a few details of the resort, and 2, maybe some steps that Universal could take in the future, because there have been other resorts and companies that have done this. So today we are going to be asking, is Universal going to be making more of these smaller resorts across North America? So let's get into it. This is Cedar Flags, and today we are going to be talking about what Universal did this week and in the future. So, what do we know from yesterday? Well, like I said, we know that both Universal is building a park in Texas and a haunt experience in Las Vegas. Starting off with the smaller news story in Las Vegas, this is going to be a year-round haunt event near the Las Vegas Strip, and it is going to appeal to many people like teenagers and young adults. There are going to be experiences of all kinds in different haunted houses, and I think that this is going to be a very nice addition. Now, myself, I'm not too much of a big Halloween events person. I'm a fan of haunted houses, but I wouldn't go all the way to a park for a Halloween event. But nonetheless, I think this is still a very good move, as these Halloween events are very popular amongst, well, people my age. But more importantly, I want to get to the new project in Texas. All of this information is according to DallasNews.com, and they say that Frisco officials and executives with Universal have announced plans of a new resort. Now, they bought this land in December, and it is around 100 acres of land. And Universal has said that this is going to be a resort that is going to cater more towards the families. I think this is a very similar move to SeaWorld owning parks like Sesame Place and Merlin owning parks like Legoland, but on a much grander scale. If you look at some of the renderings, this is on a much grander scale than those, and you could see that there is going to be a lot of theming and a lot of experiences put into this. There is going to also be a hotel that houses 300 rooms. This is going to be designed to be a 1 to 2 day destination and is going to have quote-unquote 5 interactive experiences. Something funny I found is that one of them is not going to be in the park. Even though that there is no major roller coaster or major project announced in this, I think this is still a very exciting project because it is showing that Universal is doing something out of their comfort zone. Universal seems like it is more dedicated to the thrill seekers out there, so maybe this is their introduction to the family market as opposed to something more thrilling, like the rides that are going to be found at Epic Universe and most of the rides at the Universal parks. Now, we do not have too much information like I said, but we do have a few renderings, including this one which has been shown all around the internet. So what can we see from this rendering? First off, it looks like the front entrance is going to be the hotel. I think that could be the 300 room hotel that they were talking about. As you can see, this is definitely more of a compact area. It's not spread out like Disney, but that is kind of what Universal does. They decide to pack the most into a plot of land. And as you can see, you could tell that this is sort of a souped up children's area, and that is what they were going for. You can see all around that there is a plethora of theming. There's an artificial river that goes through. Maybe that could be some boat attraction. In fact, you could see a boat going through there. And then there's a small artificial pond, and surrounding it are a plethora of rides and plazas. You can see that a lot of these rides are indoors. I wonder if there could be a state-of-the-art dark ride here that could be on par with some of the ones at Universal and Disney. And then outside, you could see some traditional flat rides. Other than the boat ride, we could see a few rides. A ride that's very similar to Dumbo, and then another ride that looks very similar to a kid-style drop tower or some sort of elevated swing ride. Other than that, to the very left of the screen, you could see what looks like to be a tracked ride. This could be a roller coaster for kids or families, and I really think that that would be really cool. Now, I'm going to be a little optimistic here and say, could this be a roller coaster very similar to something like Hagrid's? I think that would be a little far-fetched because that is like the ultimate family coaster, but I don't think it's too out of the equation with the budget Universal has. I definitely don't think it's going to be on the level of Hagrid's, but I definitely think it's going to be a little more than a ride like Flight of the Hippogriff. Or could it be a relocation of Woody Woodpecker? I mean, a little bit of speculation there, you can think what you want. But anyways, that is my speculation. But there is more. Could Universal be expanding this kids' park property? Well, let's see in the next part of the video. So when I heard that this rendering was going on, I had an initial thought. What if they built more of these kids-like resorts? Like I said, this is a smaller approach. This is going to be a lot cheaper and a lot less risk-worthy than something like Epic Universe or Islands of Adventure. So they are playing it safe, making a kids resort and a family resort, and I think that's a great approach. So, with the short budget, short amount of land, could they be doing multiple of these if this turns out well? And I really feel like if this works out, I feel like they're going to build more family-style parks across North America. Now, I do have a few areas. Like I said, Merlin has done it, and SeaWorld has done it, so where else could they expand? The first place I thought was the Northeast US, but a little south of that, maybe around the point of Maryland near Washington, D.C. I know that's more mid-Atlantic, but around that area. Now, I don't really think it would work well near New York City, as you have a lot of child-style parks, like Legoland and Dutch Wonderland nearby, so they would be very brave to do something like that, but I feel like near Washington, D.C. or Baltimore, it would work out much, much better. Another city that I thought of that has had rapid growth in the recent history is Phoenix, Arizona. Now, Phoenix is getting a new amusement park in the next few years in Mattel World, but Universal is known for competing with competitors, so could they decide to build another park across the city and make it more family-based than something like a ride like Bone Shaker? I think, once again, this is entirely possible. And with the other competitor being something like Castles and Coasters, I think this would fit a completely different market and be catered to a completely different audience. And then finally, I want to go a little outside the United States. Let's look at Ontario, Canada. Now, I don't know if there are any problems with Canada and Universal. You could all debate that in the comments and correct me, but assuming there isn't, I think that a Universal resort in Canada in the style of this would work very well. Looking at some of the competitors, Canada's Wonderland is definitely more based towards the thrill seekers, and this would be a great opportunity for families. Toronto is one of the biggest cities in North America, and I think it would be a great fit here. This would also apply to something like Mexico City, in a country bordering the United States with a big population and of course a lack of parks that are dedicated towards kids. But anyways, I wanted to keep the speculation at a minimum since we do not know too much information about this resort. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. I know many other YouTubers have talked about this so far, but I wanted to give a little bit of a twist and see where this project will be taken in the future. So let me know in the comments below once again what you think about it, and until next time, this is Cedar Flags and I'll see you all later.